The alarm goes off. You know you should get up, but your hand hovers over the snooze button. You know exactly what you need to do, whether it's starting a project or speaking up in a meeting, but in that split second, your body refuses to move. We often assume that changing the course of our lives requires a massive, heroic leap, or a total overhaul of our personality. In reality, the trajectory of your future is dictated by micro moments. It comes down to the everyday courage required to push past a few seconds of doubt before those moments pass you by. When you stall, it isn't a personal failure. The human brain is actually wired to stop you from taking risks or doing things that feel difficult. The brain interprets even the slightest pause as a stress signal. To protect you from discomfort, it immediately floods your mind with excuses to keep you exactly where you are. There is a very specific window between the initial instinct to act and the moment your mind intervenes to kill the urge. You have roughly 5 seconds to move before the brain kill mechanism takes over. Staying stuck isn't a matter of laziness. It is the result of a biological defense mechanism that prizes comfort over progress. To bypass this system, you need a physical override. The moment you feel the urge to act on a goal, you must manually count backward, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and physically move. Counting up 1, 2, 3 rarely works because it's a sequence we can do without thinking, but counting backward requires a different level of concentration. Counting down acts as a starting ritual that engages the prefrontal cortex. It interrupts automatic habit loops and shifts the brain from generating excuses to exercising deliberate control. Chemistry uses the term activation energy to describe the massive initial spark required to start a reaction. The same principle applies to your morning routine or your workload. The countdown provides the psychological push needed to overcome the peak of initial friction. Once you breach that peak, the energy requirement drops and stabilizes. Momentum takes over, making the actual work significantly easier to sustain. Action doesn't require endless willpower. It only requires the brief use of your prefrontal cortex to break your initial inertia. Many people wait to feel ready or motivated before they begin. But real change happens when you separate your feelings from your actions and start before you're prepared. Procrastination is a stress response. It is a subconscious way to avoid the immediate dread or anxiety associated with a specific task. Because the start is the most difficult part of any task, the countdown is designed to bypass that initial dread. It forces you to commit to just 15 minutes of work, which is usually enough to break the cycle of avoidance. This same logic applies to digital distractions. The constant flood of notifications creates a sense of overwhelm that makes it hard to put the phone down. You don't need to wait until you want to be productive. You use the countdown to physically remove the distraction and reclaim your focus. You can even apply this to emotional control. Physically, the state of fear is nearly identical to the state of excitement. Both involve a racing heart and a surge of energy. When panic hits, counting down and telling yourself, "I am excited," reframes those physical sensations. It provides an empowering explanation for your racing heart, shifting the mind from panic to readiness. This override acts as a reliable mechanism that separates your long-term goals from your short-term feelings. This process eventually builds confidence. It's a skill developed through repetition rather than a personality trait you're born with. Every time you use a 5-second decision to push past doubt, you provide proof of your own capability. You are training yourself to see yourself differently. This creates a loop where physical action builds identity. Doing something well reinforces your perception of yourself as someone who acts, rather than someone who hesitates. The most effective strategy is simply to begin. Waiting for the right moment or a better feeling is a trap that keeps you from the results you're after. A different reality is always waiting on the other side of a 5-second decision. Waiting for the right feeling is an illusion. Tangible progress is found exclusively in the act of moving forward when the countdown hits 0.